Miss Bergdorf Goodman, a person I never met. I have no idea who she is. I was given a false accusation.
I just posted a $91 million bond, 91 million, on a fake story, totally made up story, based on false accusations made about me by a woman that I knew nothing about, didn't know, never heard of. I know nothing about her.
Donald Trump, you stupid, silly little man. You were showing restraint, okay? You owe $90+ million to E. Jean Carroll for defamation. And for like a week and a half, you were able to restrain yourself. You kept her name out of your mouth. You stopped bleeding about her every day. You didn't remind us that she had a cat named Vagina. You didn't do any of that stuff. You moved on in your life and thus secured some of your money. And then a few more days go by and you just had to do it again. And so you saw there, that's all recent, both in interviews with TV shows, as well as on the campaign trail and the rallies. He is back to once again defaming E. Jean Carroll in the exact same way with the same claims that he made that got him the $90+ million judgment. And so, shockingly, E. Jean Carroll's attorney quickly responded to questions about this, saying that the writer's legal team is closely monitoring his latest remarks and suggested that a third defamation lawsuit could be in store for the former president. And so one of the lawyers, Kaplan, says, as we said about the last jury verdict, we continue to monitor every statement. And so here is the interesting thing, okay? And we're gonna turn now to George Conway, a person who we don't often talk about on this show. So Trump made some of these comments on the campaign trail. He's off in some place and he talks about it. But in this particular case, one of the clips you saw was him on CNBC. And that's where George Conway thinks he may have gotten himself in some more trouble than in those other appearances. He says the fact that he libeled E. Jean Carroll on Squawk Box on CNBC is significant because if E. Jean Carroll was to sue Trump for the rally speech you saw, that would be in Georgia. Okay, so that's one thing. That's the US District Court for the Northern District of Georgia. But CNBC, the show Squawk Box, is anchored in Manhattan, which means that it would be the US District Court for the Southern District of New York that would have to adjudicate this, which means that it's likely that the case would be assigned to Judge Kaplan again, the person who has already presided over a couple of these and has already shown a willingness to see Donald Trump fined into the ground. And theoretically, they could probably expedite this thing because they've already covered so many of these claims. We know that the claims are defamatory. That's already been established in multiple cases. So the reason they gave him 92, 93 million when she'd only been asking for like 24 is because the theory was if we find him even more, that's what will be required to get him to stop. That was a great hypothesis. It has been proven in testing to not work. So what dollar figure actually would get him to stop? Is it 150 million? Is it 250 million? I don't know, but I would love to see, and I hope that they sue him once again. Rayyvana, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. A majority of the damages awarded in that case were punitive damages, and the intent behind it was that he was highly likely to reoffend, and they thought that might, and maybe they were not that optimistic, but that might deter him from doing it. But he's shown, time and time again that he's completely willing to defame her by name, by alluding to who she is, which again is not a defense for defamation as long as it's easily surmisable who he's talking about. But yeah, I mean, he's just doesn't care. He doesn't care. No. And he's using it to try to, rile up his base, I suppose. But if she chooses to, obviously the ball is in her court as to whether or not she wants to go through this process again. But if she chooses to sue him, she can just keep taking his money apparently until the end of time because this guy just won't shut up.
He just it's okay. You say it and you could owe another $100 million, but also, why are you reminding your rally crowd that you raped this woman and then defamed her? I would want to maybe lead with something else if I was him, but I guess we've lived different lives. I don't know.